Hey everyone, my name is Kiki. If you are new here, thanks for stopping by. If you like music and entertainment news, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below as well as the like button and also the notification bell. It will let you know every single time I post a video. If you are a returning Kiki Nation friend, thank you so much for always coming back, and thank you for being a part of this amazing community. I love each and every one of you, and again, I thank you, thank you, thank you. So, the summer has come and gone now. We are now in the fall, and so many people that I've spoken to say the same thing. What did I do this summer? What did I do? We didn't do much of anything. I'm just being completely honest with you guys. We really did a lot of relaxing. We did a lot of just kind of kicking back and spending time with each other. And that's about it. It really wasn't anything super crazy. We did have a bunch of plans, though. I will say that there was one thing we wanted to do. We wanted to go on the Mystic nighttime, dusk time sailboat ride. And I looked at the cost of it and I couldn't justify it. I said, that is just insane. I'm sure it's a really nice time. And for those of you who have taken the cruise, I'm sure it's great. You probably say, oh my gosh, it's worth every single penny. But it was a lot. It was over $100 a person. So I just said, nah. For 2 hours, I just couldn't justify it. And I know I sound like a cheapskate. I don't really care because it's my money. At the end of the day, it's your money. It's my money. And nobody can control what you do with it. So if I feel like it's a little too much, just not going to do it. So we ixnayed that whole thing. And then we said, oh, let's go to Martha's Vineyard for the day. We really thought we were going to do that. We said, you know what? We're doing it this year. We say it every single summer. We're going to Martha's Vineyard for the day. Take the car over because you got to rent a car. I mean, with Al's feet, man, as bad as they are, like he hobbles. You know what I'm saying? So we'd have to take our own car. And you have to pay for transport of that. I get it. But looking at the one-day trip from Martha's Vineyard, same thing. Just absolutely incredibly expensive. So we didn't do that either. So you're saying to yourself, well, what did you do? We really didn't do much. And I'm okay with it. You know, as I sat back and went, yeah, there were things I wanted to do. Of course, there's always some things. Of course, we went to some concerts and we went to Party Gras starring Bret Michaels, Steve Augeri. It was at Jefferson Starship. Night Ranger, oh my gosh, we really want to see them again at some point. If they come to the New England area, Rhode Island area, we're definitely going to see Night Ranger. And Mark McGrath, it was such a fun show, and I had such a great time. That was really the pinnacle of our summer. But also another pinnacle, like I said, was just kind of kicking back and spending time doing not a lot of anything. And that's okay. You know, I think everything is relative. Whatever makes you happy is what makes you happy, you know? And also the money thing, I know it's crazy. It's like, oh, well, you know, it's only a couple $100 there, a couple $100 there. With the price of everything right now, we just don't have that kind of money to really foolishly spend it. And I know life is short. I know that you got to just do these things when you feel like doing them and you want to do them. But that was our decision, and it's okay. Just like it's okay if you want to go ahead and do all of these things, good for you. I never take offense to what anybody else does in their life because you know why? It's their life. It's the way that they do things. It's all good, everybody. It's all good. It's all about you. Really. And at the end of the day, that's the truth. And also, when it comes to money, you know, everybody talks about inflation and how expensive everything is. Food, gas, it's true. It's absolutely insane and out of control. But my best buddy, Michelle, it's so funny. You know, we talk about money things, you know, but she goes, you know what the greatest way is to have money? I said, what? Like, clearly she has a tidbit that I've never heard before. She goes, well, the best way to have money is not to spend money. Genius. It's absolutely genius. Again, you got to live your life. You got to have a good time. But you guys know I do like TikTok, and I was watching, a bunch of these videos where younger folk, the younger generation, they come up with all of these new ideas and how to envelope stuff, cash stuffing. If you haven't heard about it, go ahead and look it up. It's really interesting. I've tried it, but I end up taking the money out to go yard sailing. So it doesn't work for me, but it is definitely something that could set you on the right path if you're not on the right money path at this moment in time. However, I was talking to Michelle about it. She goes, our parents did that. And it's true. My mom did do that. My mom did put money in an envelope, and she budgeted like that on a monthly basis. And when the money was gone in one envelope, that was it. There was no more money. So it's so funny how old things become new again. Just like everyone here, I'm old. Am I becoming new again? No. But the music that we all listen to, come on guys, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, that is so popular right now, especially the 80s, blowing up beyond belief. So everything old becomes new again is just something that is so true. And you know what? That's what we're here to talk about pretty much all the time. Old stuff. People. So, one thing now, again, people reach out all the time. Oh, I want you to talk about this product, or, if you talk about this product, we'll send it to you. Listen, I am all about, I like what I like. And if I find something that I like, I tell you guys about it. This video is not sponsored by anybody, per usual, because if the right sponsor were to come along and it's something that I use all the time, perfect. But this is not sponsored. We rely on you guys, hopping on the Amazon link I always put below. And I'm going to put an Amazon link to this product. And I'm only telling you about this product because I absolutely love it. I had never had it before. I'm on my second box, and it's so good, but it's hard to find. Now, hopefully it's on Amazon. I'll be honest. I haven't even looked yet. So if it is, I think it is actually, but it's a family size box. I don't know. I'll put the link down below. I'm pretty sure it's there. Now that I'm talking and thinking at the same time, you know what I'm saying. But this cereal, I'm not kidding. This is my second box. It is Kellogg's Special K Pumpkin Spice. Now, why is this cereal so good? I will tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. And I know the whole pumpkin thing is ridiculous. It gets out of control this time of the year, but it is kind of fun. Where is it? Wait a minute. I'm going to have a flake. Oh my God, it's so good. Now, I am not, of course, when I want one, here it is. I can't find it. I am not a sweet cereal type of girl. Never have been. Didn't grow up on Fruit Loops. If you like Fruit Loops, that's great. Good for you. I did not. However, sorry for the crunching, but so good. My parents would put sugar on their cereal. Do you put sugar on your cereal? I never did that either. I think I did it a couple of times when I was a kid, but I just found that the sugar sunk to the bottom of the bowl. And then when you would drink the milk at the end and then you got sugar in it, I didn't like that. I really didn't. So, is that really loud? I'm sorry. There are these little things in there. What are they? They're little white things. I hope you can see that. Wait a minute. I can't. I chew that thing and I love it. It tastes like cinnamon something. Let me close this up because I don't want it to get dry and nasty. I don't like dry and nasty cereal. Let's see. It says crunchy wheat and rice flakes with nutmeg, allspice, ginger, and cinnamon clusters. Okay, so what is it? I never even read the box before. I don't care. I liked it so much I didn't even care what was in it. So cinnamon clusters. I'm telling you guys, the Special K Pumpkin Spice cereal, if you're into the whole fall thing, fall foods, fall this, fall that, get that cereal. It is absolutely delicious. Now, last week when I went to Market Basket, my favorite place on the planet, that's all I go to. I don't go anywhere in my life anymore. I just go to Market Basket and make things. I don't care. It's just, it makes me happy. That's all that matters, right? Whatever makes you happy makes you happy. Market Basket makes me happy. So last week when I knew I was running low on my first box, I had to find the second box, and the second box was not on the regular shelf space where all the cereals are kept. It was in a like cardboard standy thing in the aisle, and thank goodness I saw it, because I would have walked out of there really sad, because this cereal is like a limited edition. Anywho, I'll put a link to it down below. Give it a try. It's just super, super good. Now, we are going to get into our classic music, entertainment, news portion of the video right here. I hope you guys are doing well. I really do. Sending all of my love to each and every one of you. Even if you're new here and you've never been here before, hi, and it's great to have you here. So let's go. Now, guys, with the Jann Wenner situation, have you been reading about that and keeping up to date on that whole thing? Crazy. When I read about what he said and all the stuff that's going on, it literally just flicked something off in my brain. I have a flicked brain, right? I know. But in case you didn't know, he got kicked off the Rock Hall board because of recent remarks he recently made that were considered to be racist and sexist. Now, after reading some of his comments, I think it's now very clear, and I will say crystal clear, that in order to get voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you have to be one of the popular kids. Yeah, you do. And if Jann liked you, you are more than likely to get past go to get yourself on the ballot. Are you fuming? Did you think it was a popularity contest? I mean, I guess I did in the back of my mind, but you hate thinking that things are. And again, this is just my own opinion right now. But as we get further into it, we'll see. Now, before we get into that, Jann was interviewed by the New York Times, and Jann recently released a book called The Masters, and he told the New York Times writer David Marchese, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, that there were no women or people of color because none were articulate enough on this intellectual level. Right. Wenner was referring to the many interviews he did, which include rock and roll greats Bruce Springsteen and the Rolling Stones. So when he made that particular comment, I mean, he's done gazillions of interviews over the year with the biggest of artists. So allegedly, there were no people that were able to articulate their love for music well enough to his liking. I mean, I really, when I read that, it was pretty annoying. I mean, and the fact that he said it is pretty ballsy. But he said it. He said what was on his mind. Now, the day after the article was released, the rest of the board met, and in 20 minutes, Wenner went from 40 years of co-founding and serving on the Rock Hall committee to being ousted by the artists and peers who served with him. Over. Like that. I think Jann is, 77 years old. So pretty much you get to a stage in your life and you're going to just say what's on your mind. You don't care. But sometimes you got to rein it in. Sometimes you do have to have a filter. And even if you're thinking something, you may not want to say it. You just may want to hold back, throwing it out there. Wenner first worked at Ramparts magazine in 1967. He borrowed $7,500 to kick off the iconic Rolling Stone magazine. So the magazine industry was definitely in his blood from the beginning. Oddly enough, with his recent criticism of female musicians not being philosophers of rock, really? Come on. Why would you say that? He discovered iconic celebrity photographer Annie Leibovitz, and she has one of Rolling Stone's most famous covers ever. And that is a picture of John Lennon and Yoko Ono 5 hours before he was murdered outside of his home. So to be able to say that you have the very last picture ever of John Lennon is pretty epic. And Jann Wenner founded Annie Leibovitz. He discovered her. So clearly there was no problem with women back then because he wouldn't have given her the opportunity to shine for his magazine. Then there is the story of former Rolling Stone writer Robin Green, who is from Rhode Island. Holy moly, reading about her, I'm like, hi, I got to meet this woman. She was the only woman at the time in the 70s to be the only female journalist, and Rolling Stone only had 10% of female readership. 10%. So it was mostly dudes reading Rolling Stone magazine because he was only interviewing dudes. So it makes sense. Interesting because she got to interview John F. Kennedy Jr. in his dorm room. Now we're talking about Robin Green. And she had sex with him. She's very open about that. And David Cassidy, fast forwarding to him, whom Annie Leibovitz convinced for him to take off his clothes in order to change his Partridge Family image like he wanted to. He's like, listen, I am done with this squeaky clean boy thing and aura I have around me. So she's the one that got him to change his way. But Robin didn't have sex with David Cassidy. Now, the name of her book is called The Only Girl, and I'm sure that there are some pretty relevant and juicy stories in there. And I will link her book in the description box down below because to me it seems like it's a pretty fun read. Rolling Stone's popularity took a dip when punk rock came along as they didn't follow the crowd. And Spin and Blender magazine filled that void, but in 2006, circulation hit its highest ever and was selling 1.5 million copies every other week. So whatever they changed, clearly it worked. In 2017, Penske Media Corporation bought Wenner's 51% of the magazine, then later bought the remaining shares from BandLab. In 1996, rock critic Jim DeRogatis was fired from the magazine because he wrote a negative review of Hootie and the Blowfish and their album. So the New York Observer asked Jim if Wenner liked the band, and Jim responded that Jann is a fan of any band that sells 8 million records. So there was an undertone of not so niceness that Jann absolutely said, nope, you're out of here, dude. You're out. In 2022, Wenner told Ultimate Classic Rock that Boston, REO Speedwagon, Styx, and Foreigner have never, ever been considered for entry. Why is that? I don't know. Well, because like I said earlier, it seems like it's a total popularity contest. And if Jann didn't like you, you weren't getting in. Plain and simple, this is alleged and my opinion only. I have no concrete evidence of what I just said. Lou Gramm has said many times over the years, and he's been very open about this, that Wenner has a personal vendetta against Mick, so it's never going to happen. However, in a 2022 interview with Marc Maron, Jann said that he was actually really good friends with Mick Jones, so that one is really a mystery. Mystery to all of us because it's pretty conflicting things. Now, who am I going to believe, Jann or Lou? I'm going to believe Lou because Lou was there. Lou had a conversation with Mick all the time, not with Jann. So Lou is going to know exactly what's going on. Jann probably was just trying to bite his tongue and be nice. It's alleged, just saying. Now, as far as some of the other distasteful remarks that Wenner made, you can read them in the article because I don't feel right even repeating what he said. I just don't. And I'm not going to say it because you can go, you really should read the article for yourself anyway. And I will post a link to that down below. Today, Jann Wenner has been canceled, just like the artists that have not been inducted into the Rock Hall for one reason or another. Can't stand that. First of all, I hate the word canceled. I think it's rude. And I think it shouldn't even be a thing because no human being should ever be canceled. I mean, if someone does something super bad, okay, you just don't like them anymore. But to have an entire industry cancel you, well, okay, I have a person in my mind right now, yeah, that maybe, the industry is going to push you aside for the time being. But the word canceled is just, that could really push somebody over the edge if you tell them they're canceled or let them know that they've been canceled. I don't like that word. Let's just say putting someone aside for the time being. I like that. It's just a little nicer and gentler. Yeah. Wenner has said that he has nothing to do with the voting. Come on. But when you're helping to run the place, it's hard to believe that you don't have an influence on someone else's decisions. Correct. He ran the joint. So if he knows that Billy is going to vote for Foreigner and he doesn't like Foreigner, he's going to say, Billy, if you like it here, you may not want to do that. And Billy's like, okay. Again, alleged, just my opinion. Phil Collins, The Runaways, and Eddie Money are just a small slice of our favorite artists who have every ounce of right to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they are also not there. Whether it be a personality conflict or not bowing down to whatever or whomever, the canceller, which again, I don't like that word, but it's here, is now the one being canceled. So the person who has probably had a major impact on many of these bands not getting into the institution is now ousted himself. So like my mom always told me, what goes around comes around. And I think this time it's coming around. Took a long time. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes these things don't happen right away, but it's here and it's happening. But the question is, will things change for the Rock Hall going forward? Will they induct the bands and the artists that really need to be there? I don't know. Sometimes when things have been going along the same way for decades, they're not going to change them. Because why fix something that is supposedly and outrightedly looking like it works, but on the back end, there are many people yelling at you saying, it doesn't work anymore. You need to change what you're doing. Just like the whole different genre of artists and bands that they are putting into the Rock Hall doesn't make sense either. And we've all been saying that for a super long time. Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, awesome. Mariah Carey, that's great. I'm not saying they're not deserving, but maybe have, and I've said this a long time ago as well, have separate entities of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame umbrella, the Pop Hall of Fame, the Soft Yacht Rock Hall of Fame. Break them off into different entities. And put the people that should be there, direct them into the categories that they should be in so that each one can have their own audience. Because I feel like how it's being run now, it's just all over the place. It just doesn't make mental sense. I'm a flowy type of girl. I'm a squirrel. Okay, I really am a squirrel. I'm looking at something over there right now that I'm trying to not pay attention to. So I am a squirrel and I do lose track. I understand that. But when it comes to music, I do like to fit my bands and artists into their respective slots. That's just, music with me is a completely different thing than looking at a box of cereal. I just have a different way of looking at things when it comes to music. So only time will tell, but just got to tell you that Asia's not in the Rock Hall either. So will time tell that Asia will be in? I don't know. It's very disappointing. It really is. This whole thing has just been disappointing. And that's why I even don't talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame all that much, because it's annoying. Really. I'm just in a mood today. I'm just in one of those moods.
I'll tell you how I'm doing. Not well, bitch.
And for more entertainment news, Kevin Costner and his now ex-wife, Christine Baumgartner, are officially no more. And boy, was that fast. Was that like the fastest celebrity divorce in history? I mean, I'm sure there's faster ones, but this was pretty quick for everything that was involved. Now, after all of the craziness that was happening, like fighting over pots and pans, their split ended up being amicable. Weird. Definitely think that's strange. And honestly, I feel like a divorce of this money magnitude, like I just said, happened super fast. Way fast. Too fast? Maybe not too fast for those two, but too fast like in the real world. The actual amount of the settlement has not been released, but Christine was asking for over $175,000 in child support payments, $45,000 more than her original request, and the large sum comes from the oceanside lifestyle provided to the couple's 3 children. And it was said that it's in their DNA at this point, so they have to keep living the life that they've been living. Did you see me roll my eyes that time? Let me do it again. I did. I rolled my eyes. I'm not a good eye roller, but I did it. Even though this whole case was allegedly amicable, Christine asked for $885,000 in legal fees, even though Costner had already shelled out $300,000 for them, and his lawyer called the request outrageous. Outrageous, I say. Kevin had until September 21st to pay both past and present fees for his ex, and it's over, so they clearly agreed on something. What that something is, who knows? They're keeping it all kind of hush-hush. Now, you brought us all in to tell us every little thing that was going on. Now we don't know what everybody got in the end or had to pay out. Christine had been challenging the prenup tooth and nail, but her side kept losing the battle. So sometimes, you just got to know when to fold them. Christine folded them, and here we are where we are today. Yellowstone, the series on Paramount that has literally been on fire. I haven't watched it. Just not into that whole thing. Will be ending its 5th season as a finale, but Kevin will not be on it. Allegedly, he was begging to come back to Yellowstone, and creator Taylor Sheridan was willing to rewrite what has already been written, but when reviewing Costner's demands for his potential return, it was an insanely big requests for the baby. Mr. KC, Kevin Costner, was asking for a lot. A reduced shooting schedule, he wanted that. The right to approve or veto every single script, and more money. Of course, it's always about more money. Made it obvious that even though I'm sure they wanted him back because he is the money generator and the catalyst for this show, it just wasn't going to work out. So they said, sorry, Casey, no. Now, Christine left their mansion in July and is now renting a $40,000 per month home in Santa Barbara. $40,000 per month home. That's a lot of money. Are utilities included? I don't know. Who has that kind of money? Well, clearly, Kevin and Christine do. But how long can you live like that? $40,000 a month. Buy something. Like, even though the real estate market is crazy, really, just go and buy yourself a duplex. That's not happening. So crazy that this was settled so quickly, but now they can both move on, and let's see who Kevin marries next. I mean, what was the second marriage? Was this his second marriage? I don't know. But I feel like he's not going to be alone for long. I don't think he wanted the divorce. I don't think so. But he's not going to stay single. And she's probably not either. So they can move on, get on with their lives, and that's the end of that. Now, speaking of moving on with their lives, Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, I felt so bad reading this story about him. I just want him to be well. Seriously. We all want everybody to be well, but especially Steven Tyler, because I love him. So Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, whom I absolutely adore, I do, is battling his most recent problem of not being able to sing. And when that is your life, your livelihood, your everything, that is devastating. So I was listening to some sound clips of recent Aerosmith shows from this year, and it was really hard to judge if there was a change in his voice. Because, there were backup singers there. The music was pretty much at the same level of his voice. But there are some videos posted as recently as September 6th and the 9th, which is when it happened, this whole medical thing. And I, first of all, thought that Steven looked great. I really do. I think all of the guys looked great. It's hard to imagine. He's 75 years old. Like, it's just kind of crazy to even think about that, but he is. He's 75, and guys, he had on leggings with sequins on them. I don't know of a lot of 75-year-olds that could really pull that off, but Steven Tyler can. He is allowed to do that. And then there was someone in the comments of one of the videos. It was so funny. They said, boy, Steve Tyler and Joe Perry's hair look better than some 40-year-old guys. And it's true. Like, we all know it's not real hair. I mean, is it a wig? Is it, the plugs? What are they doing? I don't know, but I don't care. They just look great. It doesn't matter to me. It honestly doesn't. Now, there was a great perspective on YouTube from September 6th. Steve Vital Idol posted this video, and it's from the Pittsburgh show. And there was no obvious issue with Steven's voice. So I tried to, hone in all of the shows that I watched. I went to, stuff that was really, really recent. But if he does have backing vocals, he's going to sound good. Now, I don't have a problem with backing vocals. I really don't. I feel like they're there for a reason. You're able to use them. Who cares? Come on, guys. Let's be real here. We're going to see bands that we grew up with. We are all in an age category that is, we're mature, and we're definitely, we're fine. We're very fine. Let's say that. I'm not going to use any terms, but we are in this upper echelon level of years. I don't know. I'm trying to be kind here with everybody. So when you are in the upper echelon of years, there are things that you need to do if you are a performer. And sometimes those things include using backing vocals. I don't get why some people get really mad about it. Well, we're paying money to go see so-and-so sing a song. Okay, well, listen, when so-and-so is 82, they need a little help. Or when so-and-so is 76, they need a little help. And it's all right, because we're there to see the performers. We're there to say, listen, they're still here. They're standing on that stage. And they're doing it, well, for them, of course, because this is their life. This is what they've been honed and skilled to do. But they're also doing it for their fans. They're there for us. I don't care if there's backing vocals. Now, if we're going into a younger generational band like Taylor Swift and you figure out and you find out she's not really singing, some people are going to be upset by that. But on the other hand, we're talking about Taylor Swift. Most people people probably wouldn't care because they're Swifties and they just don't care. So in the big picture and how these shows all sell, Kiss too. Like, oh my gosh, people are like so ranking on Paul Stanley. Who cares if he's got a backing vocal? He's wearing like 5,000 pounds worth of shoes and costume and makeup on his face. Who cares if he's using backing vocals? Their stage presence is phenomenal. So doesn't bother me. You know, if it bothers some of you, I understand, but then don't go because you know that's what it's going to be. For the most part, listen, there are singers out there right now who are not using backing tracks. Lou Gramm is singing. He's out there singing. You know, when he stops down and starts talking to the audience, this is his voice. And people are seeing him by the droves because they want to see Lou Gramm. They love him. We all love him. So it doesn't matter, but he's not. It's just him on that stage. John Waite, same thing. He sounds amazing. He doesn't need anything. And his show is acoustic anyway, but he doesn't need anything. So there are performers who don't need to have that, but there are who are putting on magnanimous stage shows and they need the backing tracks. Who cares? Anyway, wrong tangent. Sorry about that. But, you know, sometimes I think of these things and I just talk about it. It's true. Now, we all know that Aerosmith is on their Goodbye, Peace Out tour. They're on the road with the Black Crowes, and the very last scheduled date is February 29th of 2024 in Cleveland. That may change, however, because the band had to cancel a bunch of upcoming shows because Steven Tyler blew a blood vessel in his throat, which does not sound very pleasant. And ouch, that had to hurt. Now, Steven has been ordered to not sing for 30 days, and he's being treated by his doctor at Mass General Hospital. But imagine if you're in the cafeteria. This is where my mind goes. Like, I'm in the cafeteria getting a salad and maybe a yogurt and probably a chocolate chip cookie. And I'm walking with my little tray or non-tray. Do they even have trays anymore? I don't know. They probably don't because it's bad for the environment. But okay, so I'm carrying my salad, my yogurt, and my chocolate chip cookie, and then Steven Tyler walks by in pajama pants. Like, what are you going to do? You can't talk to him. You can't go up to him and say, hey, Steven, so what are you doing here? Well, my throat's bleeding. But he's not going to talk to you about it because he's not supposed to talk. So you would just nod politely, under your breath say, oh my God, I love you, and walk away. You can't be harassing someone in a hospital, especially Steven Tyler. But that would be kind of crazy. If that happened, that would be so... I don't know if I would want it to happen because then I couldn't really say anything to him because I'd have to respect his privacy. Yeah, I would have to. You got to be cool sometimes. You can't be all crazy. Yeah. So what would you do if you saw Steven Tyler in the hospital cafeteria? Like, would you like tell him you liked his pajama pants, or would you go up to him? I don't know. Just tell me. Tell me. Let me know. So, according to TMZ, they said his vocal cords are mangled. Again, that sounds very painful. Now, this whole incident happened at their Long Island show at the UBS Arena. And it's being said that this happening in the beginning of the night made the audience not know anything was happening. So Steven kept going when this whole medical emergency was happening inside of his throat. It's so crazy. There is a YouTuber, his name is Kenny King. He has the entire show from that night online. Go watch it. I watched it the entire way through. And honey girl, let me just tell you, you can't tell that anything was wrong with Steven Tyler. Nothing. The night appeared to be flawless. He sounded great. He was dancing around. Now, if you know things are happening inside of your throat, even just standing there, you're going to be going, I gotta go to the walk-in or something. I can't be doing this. But he didn't stop. He continued and ended that entire show with this problem going on. So I would like to know how he did that. I would like to know how he proceeded knowing that this issue was happening. But this was also the night before Joe Perry's birthday. So Steven stuck it out, and he had the entire arena sing happy birthday to Joe at the end of the show, which was so, so cool. And on to other things. Joey Kramer, their original drummer, is not on the tour, but drummer John Douglas is. Now, he's been their drum tech since 2019, and it fits him flawlessly because you really can't even tell there's someone else sitting behind that drum kit. Will Joey be back? No, because John has taken over for the rest of the tour and the entire tour. It would be kind of cool, though, if maybe Joey showed up at the last show. Maybe. Who knows? So Steven said that he will be back on the road no matter what, and the next scheduled date is October 11th in Tampa, Florida. So all of our best to Steven Tyler and the band Aerosmith, because they are great. This is it for them. They're donezo after this tour. And maybe it is time to take a break. It'll be a long break. It'll be a forever break. But, sometimes you got to wonder and you got to sit back and say, when is it time for some bands, some performers to call it quits? And that's been a lot of chatter lately, especially within our genre of music. A lot of people have been talking about that. What do you think? Who is an artist that you would say, you know what, it is time to just enjoy the rest of your life and not perform anymore? I think that's really hard to take that performance out of the person, especially if this is their life. And this is how they have built their success, and this is what they have been doing forever and ever. I don't think you can ever take that away. And I think a lot of the people in our zone are just going to do it until they fall down. And you know what? Good for you. Really. Good for them. Just do what makes you happy.
Don't leave me. Don't leave. No, don't leave me. And I'm all alone now. I'm all alone.
So Ryan Seacrest says that he is like a kid in a candy store after landing the Wheel of Fortune gig. All you got to do is talk about letters and say hi to people and get paid millions of dollars for doing so. I think that is a great gig. And why wouldn't you feel like a kid in a candy store? You don't even have to think, really. Well, you do. You got to do some improv. But he's good at that. And he seems like he's so nice. This opportunity happened about 2 months after he left Live with Kelly and Ryan in April. He was co-host there for 6 years, so it's pretty ironic how things happen because it is hard to step away from something that you've known for a long time. We just talked about that. But then to be able to land something completely different from what you've been doing, but equally as good, just says that this whole thing was meant to be for Ryan. Pat Sajak, who is 76, will be on for one more season until he graciously departs. And come on, does Pat Sajak look 76? He looks like he's 46. Whatever they're doing to him, can I have some thanks? Guys always age better, for the most part, than us. And it's quite annoying. Of course he's doing stuff. He's getting some injections or whatever, but he looks really good. Like him and Cher. I would say Pat Sajak and Cher could be in a little, I don't know, campaign on aging. Because Cher's 77 and Pat Sajak is 76. So you have a woman, you have a man. I don't know. I think there's something there. I really think so. So I don't know what is in his system to have made him stay so happy all of the years too. Think about it. I don't watch Wheel of Fortune anymore. I used to watch it with my mom all the time, every weeknight, Was it 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock, because then at 7:30 Jeopardy came on. My mom loved Jeopardy too. But he always just seemed like a happy fella. Well, he's still a happy fella. He's still with us. But, sometimes you just want to tap into that happiness and say, what keeps you so happy? And I think they chose Ryan Seacrest because it feels like he's the exact same way. Like, he's just happy. Like, you don't see him, sir. You don't see him moaning or complaining about anything. He's just a happy fella. So definitely a good choice there. Vanna White has made some waves and also made it known that she was not getting paid the same amount of money as her co-host. Remember that whole thing going down a few months ago? Actually, it was said that Pat makes about $15 million a year and Vanna was making $3 million, which is that's a wide range. Granted, Pat had to do a lot more talking than Vanna. I mean, Vanna rarely says anything. She's just touching a letter. Before she had to turn him, now she's touching him. But still, that wide range of salary is a lot. A little bit too much. Now, Vanna got herself a really good entertainment attorney, Mr. Brian Friedman. Now, he's a big dog. Big entertainment attorney. He's represented many top artists, including Mariah Carey, Megyn Kelly. So Vanna went to the right guy. She sure did. Now, the fair compensation battle started only 2 months ago, and now Vanna has inked a deal to remain on the Wheel of Fortune until 2026. So, not getting any pay raises for 18 years and having the right attorney got Vanna exactly where she needed to be. Ryan said that he's happy to work with her and she's beloved by this country and the viewers. And I can't even imagine standing next to her on that set being able to say, okay, let's get to it. But that's going to happen soon enough for Ryan. So I'm sure it's going to be pretty surreal for him. As he said, he watched the show growing up as a kid. Now, Ryan will most definitely be the perfect fit for the Wheel of Fortune. And I like that it will be a very smooth transition because him and Pat just seem so similar. So good luck to everybody there. And I'm so glad Vanna settled her case because, again, just so crazy to know that there was such a wide range in salary. But why did she wait so long to say something? That's the whole thing. Oh, we can get into that. We've gotten into that before, but sometimes people wait a long time to say what they need to say. I say just spit it out and get it over with and get it out of the way. Get it out of your system. It's like a bubble. Just sitting there. Let it go.
Sometimes if you just let it all go, you end up surprising yourself.
NSYNC is reuniting after 16 plus years of them being apart. I love NSYNC. I've always loved NSYNC. In 2000, officially on paper, the guys broke up in 2007, and their last album was in 2002. Now, NSYNC was the bomb.com back in the day. Honey, oh, how do you not love NSYNC? Well, I'm sure some of you don't, but I just think they're great. Their first self-titled album came out in 1997 and came out of the gate with their single, I Want You Back. And I want you back. Right? Come on now. Come on. The album did crazy good. It sold over 15 million copies, went to the top of the chart right away. It went on to win 8 Grammys. And Justin Timberlake was dating Britney Spears, 2 huge pop people being as poppy as they could be. Literally, they came out of the gate on fire. I mean, the guys were doing it. They knew what was up. They did. But things were not as great as they seemed to be because their manager at the time, the late Lou Pearlman, basically took all of their money. And it's just so sad what happened to them. I've told you guys about it before. There's a documentary. I believe it was on Netflix or it could be on one of the other premium channels about the whole NSYNC happening. And you would just be so sad if you watched it. But you should watch it because it's reality. And At least they made a comeback, but that should have never happened. So they did come roaring back in 2000 with their release of No Strings Attached, and that was literally because they were able to break away from Perlman and no longer be his puppets, hence the whole puppet thing on the album cover. You guys remember that? They were just puppets. And actually, I see NSYNC dolls with that album cover all the time. Nobody wants them because they were so mass-produced at the time. They're just not desirable. If there's less of something, there's more demand. If there's more of something, there's less demand. And there has been no NSYNC, so there's going to be some demand there. The guys went on tour for the release of their 2001 album called Celebrity. Then they took a break, then briefly reunited in 2004. And talk was that they were going to release a new album, but that's not how it went down, supposedly. There was some not very nice things going on. Justin knew that he wanted to go out on his own, and he did. He actually won 10 Grammys, 2 more than NSYNC did, which is so crazy. 2004 was also the year that Justin popped on the Super Bowl halftime stage with his good friend Janet Jackson and ripped off her jacket, shirt, tankini, whatever it was, to expose her bubbly buddy. We all remember that. And we were watching that show, and I'll never forget. We have 2 sons, but I don't know, one of them was there watching, and he put his hand over their eyes. Not that, I don't think it happened so fast, but Al saw it happen, because I will never forget that. He's like, holding either Corey or Chris's eyes, and it's like, oh my gosh. He had to tell me what happened. It was so fast, I didn't see it. Now, that was a big hullabaloo because Justin pulled too hard. It was planned to happen, but not in that way. So I kind of think maybe Justin had his hand in the wrong spot. Yeah. Now, Justin released his first album in 2002, and it did amazing, but the rest of the team was just kind of waiting around to make that new album that everybody kept talking about, which never happened. Lance Bass said that he was never mad about the situation, but the fact that everyone around them knew that there wouldn't be an album and they wouldn't be reuniting was really bothersome to him. It's like, just tell me. Just say something. Now, they did get together here and there throughout the years. In 2018, they got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So, of course, they had to be there for that. And on September 12th of this year, 2023, they presented Taylor Swift with the Best Pop Award at the 2023 MTV Awards. Now, there is a new Trolls movie coming out, Trolls 3, Band Together. That's what it's called. I will not be seeing it because, and I'm not a cartoon person. I'm just saying. But NSYNC will be seeing it because they have a single on the soundtrack. Everybody's really excited about this. Now, the rumor is that NSYNC will reunite at the Super Bowl halftime show, which is a great idea because it will sell their music and set them up to go on tour. I like it. The Backstreet Boys had an amazing tour. They were selling out left and right. And this genre, like I said a little while ago, is huge right now. 80s and 90s, mega big. So why not? Now, the guys of NSYNC are all still pretty young. Anyone younger than me is young. Duh. But I'm pretty sure they're all in their 40s. But for the ones who have kids, they're probably not going to want to leave them for most of the year. So I see maybe an extensive summer tour next year. Then they take a break and do it again the following year. Because when you have young kids, you just don't want to leave them like that. Especially at this stage of the game. If they're financially set and you don't have to, why do it? You want to see your kids grow up. And during the summer, all the kids can be with them on tour. Now, I love NSYNC. I'm sure they'll still be amazing this time around because they were just so good. So what do you think? NSYNC at the Super Bowl, but who would their side performer be? I say Backstreet Boys. I say it should be NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys because those were the two boy bands that were so huge at that time. What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below.
I don't know. I love them both.
So what were we all listening to at this time in 1982? I'm going to tell you what we were listening to. We were listening to Paul McCartney's Take It Away. We were listening to Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Wasted on the Way. Isn't that funny? Take It Away, Wasted on the Way, way. And also we were listening to John Cougar's Hurt So Good. Now, this was before he added Mellencamp to his name. And then 1 year later, he added Mellencamp, and that was in 1983. And in 1991, he dropped the Cougar. But don't ever drop the Cougar. I think you should have kept the Cougar. I like the Cougar, John Cougar Mellencamp. I actually like the flow of that name. He didn't want it anymore. We were also listening to Hold Me by Fleetwood Mac. And that song, at this time was starting to drop on the chart a little bit. Also, Melissa Manchester, remember her? Oh my gosh, I have an interview with her on my channel. Go and find it. She's a pretty cool lady. You should hear how she talks about you. That song was playing on the radio. Also, Air Supply. Even the Nights Are Better. Now, let's talk about this for a second. Graham Russell and Russell Hitchcock. Isn't that funny? They've been friends since 1975, and they both have the name Russell in their name. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts? They're still performing together. And guys, Air Supply is blowing up right now. They're selling out every single show they're doing. They're actually coming to Rhode Island at Bally's on November 17th. That's Al's birthday. Happy birthday, Al. A little bit early. People are going bananas. Everybody wants to go see Air Supply. I think the entire state is going to be there to see Air Supply. So have you seen Air Supply perform this year? Let us know in the comments down below. I think they're great. I've watched some recent videos of them performing, and they still sound amazing. Really. I am excited to see Air Supply. Also, another John Cougar hit we were listening to at this time, Jack and Diane, two American kids just doing the best that they can. Really. And that's all these kids are doing right now. They're just doing the best that they can. Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. Come on. Great song. Jim Peterick, what a great guy. And also, Hard to Say I'm Sorry by Chicago. Now, that song is so cool because it's considered a ballad. However, it blows up into a true rock song in the middle. And I like songs that do that. I like songs that have a transition. They start off slow and then boom, they do something else. I do like that. Producer David Foster was on the piano and he co-wrote Hard to Say I'm Sorry with the amazing Peter Cetera, who really made that song as juicy as it became. Peter Cetera, where is he today? I want to know. Also, Toto members David Paich and Steve Porcaro, they played on synthesizer. And the song was also in the 1982 movie Summer Lovers, starring Daryl Hannah, Valerie Quennison, she's a French actress, and the super hot Peter Gallagher. Have you seen that movie, Summer Lovers? I remember watching that years and years ago. And it was always on repeat, so I always watched it again and again and again. And I think that's why that happened to me, because why I watch things over and over again. Because when we were kids growing up, if there was nothing on TV, you had to watch a repeat of something you had already seen. So I kind of think that's why that happened to me. And that's why I still have that trait when I'm an adult. So go ahead and watch that movie if you haven't. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager. It was a pretty good movie. So guys, thanks so much for being here with me today. I hope you have a great week ahead. I will post an Amazon link for the pumpkin spice cereal by Special K down below. I think you'll like it. For those of you who like a little bit of sweet cereal and you want to have that fall flavor in a cereal, I think you would like this. I really do. Also, please go ahead and download the app to Kiki.fm. We are playing the best classic hits around. It is so good. And you can literally turn the station on and just let it play for however long you want it to and not get bored with it. And the app is completely free. So guys, again, thank you for being here. Oh, also, I got to say that the Amazon link, Kiki.fm, gets literally pennies from whatever you choose to purchase on Amazon through that link. I do have to be upfront and honest with you, but you do not pay any more for using that link, but it does help to keep our station on the air. So again, we thank you for everything. And I do have a couple of new designs in the Kiki.fm rock shop. Cats, dogs, grandmas, all talking about classic hits. Go ahead and check that out too. Guys, remember to be kind, stay strong, and most importantly, most importantly, always turn up that music and keep rocking. We love you guys, and thank you so much for your support, your love, and your kindness. Have a great and wonderful week.